Don't you know that you yourselves are God's temple and that God's Spirit dwells in your midst? 1 Corinthians 3 verse 16. I have the right to do anything, you say, but not everything is beneficial. I have the right to do anything, but I will not be mastered by anything. 1 Corinthians 6 verse 12. Be careful, however, that the exercise of your rights does not become a stumbling block to the weak. 1 Corinthians 8 verse 9. So, if you think you are standing firm, be careful that you don't fall. 1 Corinthians 10 verse 12. So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. 1 Corinthians 10 verse 31. For as woman came from man, so also man is born of woman. But everything comes from God. 1 Corinthians 11 verse 12. There are different kinds of gifts, but the same Spirit distributes them. 1 Corinthians 12 verse 4. Even so the body is not made up of one part but of many. 1 Corinthians 12 verse 14. If I speak in human or angelic tongues, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. 1 Corinthians 13 verse 1. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. 1 Corinthians 13 verse 4. And now these three remain, faith, hope and love. But the greatest of these is love. 1 Corinthians 13 verse 13. Follow the way of love and eagerly desire spiritual gifts, especially the gift of prophecy. 1 Corinthians 14 verse 1. Do not be misled, bad company corrupts good character. 1 Corinthians 15 verse 33. Be on your guard, stand firm in the faith, be courageous, be strong. 1 Corinthians 16 verse 33. Remember this, whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. 2 Corinthians 9 verse 6. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1. A time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 4. Therefore each of you must put off falsehood and speak truthfully to your neighbor, for we are all members of one body. Ephesians 4 verse 25. Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. Ephesians 4 verse 29. Get rid of all bitterness, rage and anger, brawling and slander, along with every form of malice. Ephesians 4 verse 31. Have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. Ephesians 5 verse 11. Be very careful, then, how you live, not as unwise but as wise. Ephesians 5 verse 15. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Ephesians 6 verse 12. Have you experienced so much in vain, if it really was in vain? Galatians 3 verse 4. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness. Galatians 5 verse 22. We must pay the most careful attention, therefore, to what we have heard, so that we do not drift away. Hebrews 2 verse 1. And let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds. Hebrews 10 verse 24. Now faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. Hebrews 11 verse 1. Make level paths for your feet, so that the lame may not be disabled, but rather healed. Hebrews 12 verse 13.